Welcome to Let's Talk Football with me, Chris.
And me, Richard.
The podcast bringing you the latest in football news. Every week we discuss all the big talking points from the world of football and preview all the action in the week to come.
In this week's podcast, Mo Salah is the hero for Liverpool as they beat Manchester City in one of the biggest games of the season so far. That result means that Arsenal are now 4 points clear at the top of the table after their 1-0 win over Leeds. And Ivan Toney continues to prove his England credentials by scoring twice in Brentford's 2-0 win over Brighton.
Lots of controversy this weekend too, so let's talk football. Hello everybody.
Hello everyone.
And welcome back to the podcast. Let's Talk Football podcast. The LTFP, if you will.
The only football podcast you need.
It is the only one. It's the only one where people talk sense.
Sometimes.
It's true. You can listen to TalkSport and listen to Graham Souness if you like, but I mean, come on.
Why would you want to do that?
Come on. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You want to be where the cool kids are.
Yeah.
And obviously, this is here.
Yeah, I mean, we're cool, right?
Sure. Absolutely. Right, let's get cracking then. Let's talk about Sunday's game.
Yeah.
Because it was a big one.
It was very big.
Liverpool, Man City at Anfield. And I think I always had a bit of a feeling that Liverpool were going to be able to
rise to the occasion. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the second half in midweek for them as well would have given them a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
In that second half performance against Rangers in the Champions League was phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus Christ, that escalated very quickly.
It really did. Yeah, 1-1 at half time, thinking, okay, it's interesting. Liverpool are still struggling, and then all of a sudden, second half starts and they come out a different team. I don't know what Klopp said to him at half time in that game, but it seems to have carried over
to have done
into
the trick. Yeah,
the weekend. It does. They were very, very up for it. You know, and two big atmospheres as well, it must be said, because Ibrox is always jumping, and then when you get a big game at Anfield,
they are normally pretty noisy. Yeah,
yeah, and maybe that's what this Liverpool team maybe needs at the minute, but we'll see how they progress. But it was a good game.
Yeah,
There's chances on both sides.
Yeah,
controversy,
but not really. I don't think it was.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think it's a foul. I think he's pulled his shirt. He's grabbing onto him for forever.
Yeah, he's just held on too long.
It's not just. It's not even just a hold. I think he pulls him.
Yeah, he literally pulls him over.
Back.
Yeah,
yeah, and it's just like, well, that's a foul.
Yeah.
It's a foul.
You have to be clever with these sort of things. Yeah.
Yeah, and I always love this. I mean, I've said this to you before, but this idea when all the pundits turn around and go, well, VAR's re-refereeing the game. Well, that's sort of what it's there for, isn't it?
Supposed to be what it's supposed to do.
It's like there's a mistake there.
Yeah.
And they've gone, well, that's a wrong decision, so we need to pull that back. That is
the definition of what VAR is supposed to do.
Yeah. Re-refereeing the game. Well, yeah, yeah, it is supposed to do that. What it's there for those big moments, to re-referee when the referee gets it wrong.
Yeah.
And they didn't spot the pull on Fabinho.
No.
And so
it was rightly ruled out. Yeah.
Rightly ruled out. It was a good goal though. I thought Mo Salah took that goal well. He had a couple of chances before, and he misses. I thought, oh, they're not going to score. You know, as it goes on, because I think he had a couple before where he's just missed or just gone wide.
Well, Ederson saved one, didn't he? That they didn't give a corner for.
It was a phenomenal save.
Yeah. But then he does exactly the same thing, and this time puts it in the net.
You can't give him a second go.
No, definitely not. I mean, I don't know why they were playing such a high line in the first place.
Yeah.
All it needs is one to go wrong. And
I think that's kind of the way City have been, though, innit? And I think Liverpool were a lot deeper in this game than they usually were.
But then they sprung out pretty quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, they did. But because City play the high line, I think that's probably why Jurgen went, well, we can afford to drop back a bit.
Yeah.
And obviously their high line, if they'd have played a high line against City, they'd have been done for. They'd have been done.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It would have just been, it could have been another bloodbath for them. But I think maybe that is, for these big games anyway, maybe how Klopp takes it going forward. Maybe that's what he's learnt from, particularly maybe the United game.
Maybe, yeah.
When they did get taken advantage of from Rashford, who, you know, took advantage of their high line.
Yeah.
Obviously, we went with Milner at right back as well, a bit more of a defensive head in there.
Yeah.
Which I think all these things kind of helped Liverpool a bit. And I just thought City were not, you know, they didn't create that many
clear-cut
really
chances.
Good opportunities, did they?
No, really.
Other than the disallowed goal, really, is the only one I can really put my head on.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Liverpool defended very well, which they've not really done in the Premier League so far this season.
They haven't this season, and I think that was a big thing for him.
Joe Gomez had a particularly good game. Yeah.
Yeah, he was good. He was good, and again, he'll be one that's fighting to try and make an impression to that England squad.
Well, he's got a couple of problems at the moment, hasn't he? With obviously Walker's out injured.
Yeah.
And now so is Reece James.
Reece James has taken a knock. Yeah, I mean, we should be all right for right backs, I reckon.
I mean, we've got a few, yeah.
We've got a few.
It means
still got Kieran and Trent to throw in there. It means
Trent probably goes now, yeah.
Yeah, if neither of those get back.
James is probably not going to make it. They reckon it's 8 weeks and he's got 5 weeks to the World Cup.
Yeah, so that's probably going to be a bit of a stretch for Reece, which is a shame.
Walker's very much on the edge of sort of, he might make it, he might not. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, good win for Liverpool.
Big win as well. Big win. Climbs them up the table a little bit.
Big win for Arsenal as well.
And Arsenal get a big win, which, considering now that City lost, they take a 4-point advantage. That's huge for them.
At this point, yeah. Definitely.
And they're showing signs that the consistency is there.
Yeah.
Saka with a really good goal.
Really great finish from Saka.
Yeah.
Tight angle. Went high rather than low. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was really good. Leeds.
I thought Leeds gave them a good game, though.
They did. I think they did. I think they did play well.
Probably the toughest they've played against, maybe. In terms of sort of having the chances against them. Obviously, they missed a great chance with a penalty.
Yeah. And then obviously the other one got
ruled out for a
foul,
which,
didn't it?
Was it a foul? I don't think it was a foul, but
yeah, I'm not sure either.
It's a nudge.
Yeah,
outside the box is not given, is it?
Exactly, and I think that's the disappointment. I think for Leeds, they'll be disappointed that they didn't after the issues that were found. They managed to find a way to get at Arsenal a little bit where other teams haven't so much. But no, I think Arsenal, and even more so for Arsenal to go away, have that tough game and still come out winning.
Yes, definitely.
That's huge for their mentality, isn't it?
Yeah.
For their, knowing that they
shows that they are going in the right direction, because that again is a game last season they probably wouldn't have won.
Yeah, absolutely. So big for Arsenal. Arsenal continue to impress in the league. So that's worrying from a Tottenham perspective.
Ugh, don't remind me.
But before we talk about Tottenham, let's just go to Villa Park. A double for Mount.
Yeah.
Chelsea seem to be quietly going about their business.
They are, yeah.
They're out the headlines. They're kind of
just plodding on.
Hardly see them on telly in the league at the minute, and they're just winning games of football.
You might say that they are mounting pressure on Steven Gerrard.
You could say that they have mounted pressure on the Villa manager, and it continues to be a problem for him.
Yeah, who they've even said this week in some press that even winning his next 2 games might not save him his job.
Well, I mean, that seems a bit excessive to say, because
I'm not sure what paper I saw that in, but I did see it.
Well, if they go out and win 2-0 or 3-0, 4-0 in their next 2 games, you can't sack a manager on the back of that, can you?
Not really, no. Let's be
You
honest.
can't really sack him. Go, actually, no, okay. You got to give him a bit more time, but it's going to be. It'll be interesting actually to see with these managerial positions what happens when the World Cup. Because I think a lot of clubs, if they're struggling, might take that moment to kind of go, right, we're going to change on the break. And that's why this year is going to be fascinating.
Definitely. Yeah, that's a good point.
With all these added extras. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with Gerrard. He's really struggling to get consistency in that Villa team.
To be fair, it doesn't help when Tyrone Mings makes the mistake he makes for the first goal.
No, it really doesn't. It really doesn't.
I've watched it about 5-6 times, and I still can't work out how that ball goes up rather than out.
Yeah. Yeah, it is ridiculous. But that it did, and it went straight into the path of Mason. And he wasn't gonna turn up that opportunity, was he? He was just gonna go, nope, that's mine. I'm having a goal. Thank you very much.
But again, Villa created chances which they haven't done this season. They just couldn't get past Kepa. He was fantastic.
Yeah, Kepa was absolutely. He'll be in the team of the week. I would imagine.
I mean,
for
that
FIFA
double
this week.
save in particular. I mean, maybe even a triple save. I think at one point.
Oh no, he was really. That's the best I've seen Kepa. You think about it, right? He's had that pressure. Mendy's been there, kind of in position, and he's got Potter's given Kepa a chance.
Yeah, I think Mendy was injured, so Potter kind of gave the gloves to Kepa. And to be fair, he's kept hold of them. He's kept hold of him,
because Mendy was back on the bench yesterday.
Yeah.
So interesting to see that little battle now between Mendy and Kepa, because there was no doubt in Kepa had ability.
Yeah.
Back when they brought him, it was more his confidence coming into the league. Was he strong enough? And he had a couple of mistakes, and then as a goalkeeper, confidence is a huge thing.
It is, absolutely. Yeah.
But he seems to be finding his feet finally in the league, and we'll see how he gets on. Hopefully, it's a sign of things to come. Well, if you're a Chelsea fan anyway, a sign of things to come. And be interesting though, because obviously having two number ones is always
tricky.
It never works out in the end.
No.
So a decision's going to have to be made at some point.
Dean Henderson.
That's Dean Henderson. I mean, yeah, he's having a wonderful time, isn't he?
He really is.
Right, let's go to Friday night's game then, because we mentioned it in the intro.
Yeah.
Good win for Brentford.
Good win for Brentford.
First and foremost. But Ivan Toney is definitely knocking on that England door.
He is, yeah.
And that one little finish, little back heel.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
lovely.
Yeah, lovely finish. Yeah.
Watch that all day, every day.
And then the penalty. He's just so calm when it comes to taking penalties.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's definitely... He's got a big transfer on his horizon if he keeps this form up.
Yeah.
And obviously, he's been linked with Man United. Here's the big one, but I could see maybe a Chelsea being in there.
I was going to say, you said big transfer, right?
I mean, he's not... Well, I mean, I'm definitely not including Tottenham in that conversation. United, Chelsea have been linked with him, and then obviously you might even get suitors abroad.
Maybe
at this point.
Yeah.
Barcelona.
I was going to say Barcelona will probably look at him and go, "We got rid of Aubameyang. We can have him."
Yeah. So, no, in all seriousness, he's playing so well at the minute. He's in a rich vein of form, and he needs to really take advantage of this. And if he can get in that England squad for the World Cup,
because there's places up for grabs. Yeah.
There are, especially that part of the pitch. Obviously, you got to think that is that second striker role. That real backup to Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Has got to be between him, Tammy, and those and Watkins.
Yeah,
really.
Probably the three of them. Yeah.
The three, one of those three are going to be the real backup.
Yeah.
And at the minute, Ivan Toney for me
is in second place.
He's probably playing the best, playing the better out of the three of them.
Yeah.
Tammy's doing really well at Roma, but he's not scoring the goals like Ivan's scoring, and that's what England are going to need in a tournament.
Definitely. Yeah. No, I agree.
So big win for Brighton. That puts them back up into the mid-table area now. We're looking a bit nicer than it was last week. Brighton still have had a really good start to their season, but the change, having losing Potter, is that going to have an effect on how they get on?
Yeah.
And it might do.
May do. Yeah.
Right, let's go to Tottenham then. You were there.
I was there.
How was it?
Stressful, as you can probably tell by my voice.
Yeah, lots of croakiness. Took an hour and a penalty.
It took an hour. To be fair, Everton had the two best chances up to that point.
Yeah.
There was one where Damari Gray ran through and skied it. And then we had a very big cock up at the back where I think two of our players collided. And
not ideal.
And then, the bloke skied it again. But Harry Kane, I listened to Tim Sherwood, who was talking about the penalty.
Oh, God.
And he said he was very clever in what he did. And I watched it, and I was kind of like, yes, I agree with that statement of clever.
Yeah.
Because obviously he knows that Jordan Pickford's going to come out to his feet, so he touches it a little bit harder than maybe what he would have done had he got it away, had he got a shot away. And obviously he knows he's going to collide with Pickford at some point.
That's it.
But it was a penalty. There's no debate.
No, I think it was a penalty. He's taking him out, and then he obviously slots it away as you'd expect him to. You say expected it to against his England teammate who has a good record.
Dean Henderson saved one earlier in the season. He missed one Wednesday night as well. So pressure was on him, but he delivered when it mattered.
He did, and then Højbjerg gets the second one later on.
Yeah,
just to calm some of the nerves.
Lovely
around
deflection off of Alex Iwobi as well, which was always very nice. But no, we're ticking along quite nicely.
Yeah, it's looking good for Tottenham at the moment.
8 home wins on the bounce.
Got to take those.
Absolutely.
Got to take those sitting pretty in third in the table. Chelsea have still got a game in hand though.
Yes, they have. Yeah, but we've got the points on the board.
They have. They have indeed for now.
For now,
have the advantage over Chelsea. So, That's that. Right, let's go to the controversial stacked game that was the 0-0 that was Man United Newcastle.
Yeah.
2 penalty decisions.
Yeah.
And then the infamous was the free kick taken, wasn't the free kick taken.
Now I've watched this back again and
Yeah.
I've gone to look at the official ruling for what the referee has to do.
Mm-hmm.
So would you like to hear that?
Yeah, let's hear it.
So whilst he's got his hand in the air, he's signalling an indirect free kick.
Yeah.
Play only continues when he puts his arm down.
Okay.
So the fact that the defender has knocked the ball back to the goalkeeper
is irrelevant.
Because the free kick hasn't, in the referee's eyes, the free kick hasn't taken place.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, there you go then.
Yeah.
Clear cut. Not a problem.
Not a problem. No. Lovely finish from Ronaldo, though. Clever.
It was. I mean, he took it well, but it's not to be.
No.
There was the one, wasn't there, that Nani did a few years ago that you may well remember.
Was it against Tottenham by any chance?
I believe it was. Gomez.
It probably was Gomez.
So there was the one that was given. That one.
But no, it was rightly ruled out in my opinion, at least. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, to be honest, there's nothing to rule out because the ball wasn't in play. No. So nothing to rule out, really, was there?
But Callum Wilson had a penalty shout, didn't he?
He had a penalty shout, and I think it was a penalty.
Yeah, because obviously Varane runs across him. Yeah.
I don't know how far I've looked at that and gone, no, that's not a penalty. The ref misses it, fine, the ref misses it, but I don't know how VAR can look at it and go, that's not a penalty. I think we were very, very lucky. Yeah, but then on the other hand, I think there was a court shout that United maybe should have had a penalty as well at the other end.
So one each?
So, one each. But obviously, depending when each of those happened, the other one might not have occurred. So
Joe Linton was unlucky as well.
Yeah, no, he was.
To hit the bar and then hit the post within like 10 seconds is like...
Yeah, no, he's definitely had a moment.
The one that come off the post, yes. The one that come off the bar, that's a good reaction. But he should have buried the one that come off the post.
And then Rashford had a good chance at the end. Fred had a good chance at the end. So there was, considering it was 0-0, there was a lot of opportunities.
It's what we call in the business an entertaining 0-0.
An entertaining 0-0 where nothing happens but a lot does.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much that. Then the other game, I think one of the best games of the weekend was the Fulham-Bournemouth game.
Yeah.
That was quite entertaining to watch.
That was quite entertaining, yeah.
It went, Solanke gets the early goal.
Issa Diop with the equaliser, yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, you think, no, once the first goal, you think, all right, we've got a game here.
Yes.
Because you got two clubs who are probably level-wise on each other's level.
Yeah. And then just going at it, hammer and tongs. Yeah.
Both thinking we can win this game, and that's what you get. That is the Premier League at its best.
Yeah.
Mitrovic, obviously coming back from his injury, gets his goal. Been on fire this season.
He has, yeah. He normally finds a knack of scoring in the Premier League, doesn't he? I mean, he romped the Championship last year.
Yeah.
But he does have this knack of scoring in the Premier League.
But that is obviously not a bad habit to have.
Oh, no, definitely not.
But yeah, very entertaining game at Craven Cottage. Both clubs then are looking pretty okay where they are. I mean, they were 10th and 11th in the table, so it was the epitome of the mid-table clash.
Yeah.
When 10 plays 11.
Very happy.
Yeah. So yeah, they've had good starts, both newly promoted sides. I mean, it's a decent start to have that many points. To have 13, Bournemouth on 13, Fulham on 12 points. To have that after 10 games, they'd have taken that, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
It would just be whether they can amass enough points over the rest of the season. Right, where we go to next? Let's talk Wolves and Forest. Bottom of the table clash, really.
Was a bottom of the table. Tale of two penalties in this one as well.
It was the one that Ruben Neves was able to convert.
And Brendan Johnson did not.
He did not, indeed. And Forest are... Struggling. to put it lightly, it is a struggle for him.
Did you know
Wolves
that Jose Sarr is playing with a broken bone in his hand?
For a goalkeeper, that is ridiculous.
Yeah. His right hand is playing with a broken bone in it.
I guess if there's not a lot they can do about it, he's just like, well, just tape it up and we'll go with it.
Yeah, that's dedication, isn't it?
It is. There's a lot of pain.
Must be, but yeah,
maybe he just doesn't trust Sarkic that much, and he's just like, well, if we're already in bad trouble.
maybe playing through the pain. Yeah.
But Forest are struggling. Wolves needed that win, though. Big win for Wolves.
Yeah.
I mean, both teams needed a win from it. It was very cagey because of that, I felt.
Yeah.
But Wolves getting the goal is huge. Puts them, back in touching distance now with even as high as West Ham on 11 points. They're on 9 points, so it puts them. It's going to be very tight this time of the season, but the gaps will start to appear as we go on, and I think Leicester and Forest are now starting to get caught adrift.
They are, yeah.
Obviously, a 0-0 for Leicester and Palace.
Yeah, while yours was entertaining, this was dull.
Yeah, it was not. It was definitely the opposite. There's not a lot to say about it other than Leicester could really do with a win. And Palace is okay, but again, could do with some points on the board as well. But I can't believe that both those teams just decided not to show up at all. Back to Sunday's game then. I think the only one we haven't talked about is Southampton West Ham now.
That's the last one.
That is the last one, and that was an okay game as well. I thought had its moments.
Yeah.
Declan Rice finally gets a goal in the Premier League after God knows how long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Big goal after that, but it wasn't before Southampton were able to take the lead in that game.
Yeah, a bit of controversy with the Southampton goal. There's a foul in the build-up, apparently. I didn't see it.
But... me neither. But it is what it is for those. And again, these are two teams. I mean, West Ham probably. Between the two of them, it was a very even game. I think it's very going to, like we're saying, down that bottom half of the table at the minute. It's going to be so tight until the gaps start to emerge. There's only really Leicester and Forest that are getting cut off.
West Ham had 25 shots.
Yeah.
In an away game.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
It is a lot, but only 4 on target.
Yeah, that's the conversion rate is crap, but yeah.
So it's not even.
Come on,
a few blocks.
Come on, mathematician. What's the conversion rate?
Shoddy.
Shoddy is your expert opinion, I think.
Shoddy, yeah. Well, it's about it's just under 20%, isn't it?
I mean, I'm no good at maths, so yeah. Whatever you'd have said, I've said, yeah, absolutely.
It might even be 19%.
Don't be finicky. Just say
right.
Just say less than 20.
Indeed. So that is your Premier League games this week. Good times to go. We've obviously got some midweek games this week, but we'll pick you up with that all next week if there's anything interesting that happens. But it's time now to go around the world.
Okay, I'm going to take you around the world, croaky voice and all. And I start this week close to home where Sheffield United and Blackpool played out a 3-3 draw, including a last-minute equaliser for United's Oliver Norwood. Before that, though, 2 Blackpool players were sent off, so they had 9 men at that point, of course, before 2 further sending-offs, 1 for each side after the final whistle, and a bit of a melee as well to end the game. You've got to love to see that cracking game in the Championship there. In Italy, Juventus get a much-needed win over Torino. Both the Milan clubs win, as do leaders Napoli as they lead the way. In France, Neymar scores the only goal as PSG beat Marseille by 1-0. Rennes beat Lyon 3 goals to 2 as Monaco are held by 10-man Clermont. El Clasico was won by the newly crowned Ballon d'Or winner Karim Benzema. He scored the opening goal as they beat Barcelona 3-1. Antoine Griezmann scores the only goal as Atletico beat Bilbao. In Germany, Union Berlin beat Dortmund by 2-0. Bayern put 5 past Freiburg as Leverkusen drop into the bottom 3 as they lose 5-1 to Frankfurt. In the WSL, England's Ella Toone scores twice as Manchester United beat Brighton 4-0. Manchester City win 4-0 as well. There were wins for Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham and West Ham. The London club doing very well this weekend in the WSL. In the MLS, LA Galaxy, Austin and Dallas progress into the semi-finals, joining the winners of the Western Conference, LAFC. Cincinnati, Montreal and New York City progress from the Eastern Conference to join Philadelphia in the semi-finals. We'll bring you that next week, is what happens there. In the A-League, last season's champions Western United make it 2 defeats from 2 after losing to Sydney FC. And Needham Market, Chris, are through to the first round proper of the FA Cup. They beat Maidstone by 1-0.
Lovely
Their
stuff.
reward is a trip to League One, Burton Albion in round 1.
Well, there we go. Big times for Needham Market. You love to see that. So that's going on around the world in football, as there always is. But we also need to check in with our football manager wonder kid, that is Donis Avdijaj. Any updates for the boy?
An update. He did play some part in the game this time.
Okay.
He came on in the 85th minute of their 0-0 draw with Young Boys of Burn.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Thanks for that.
So they're still bottom of the table, still without a win. But
it's not looking good. It's not looking good for the boy Donis, is it?
It's not looking good for Donis, no.
It's not looking good. Unlucky. Right. So, yeah, like we said, there's some midweek fixtures this week, but also we will go through this weekend's Premier League programme to see what you've got to look forward to in a weekend full of football.
So, we start on Saturday lunchtime with a fun fact for you. The first televised game ever in the Premier League was Nottingham Forest taking on Liverpool. That is the lunchtime game this weekend. There are 2 games at 3 o'clock. Everton take on Crystal Palace. Manchester City take on Brighton. Before a big game at 5:30. Chelsea take on Manchester United. There are 4 games kicking off at 2 o'clock on Sunday. Wolves against Leicester. Aston Villa taking on Brentford. Southampton taking on Arsenal. Leeds taking on Fulham before the 4:30 game, which is Tottenham versus Newcastle. Monday Night Football returns this week as well. West Ham taking on Bournemouth.
Yes, don't forget the big weekend fixture, the big midweek feature, I should say, between Manchester United and Tottenham.
We don't talk about that next week.
It depends. I mean, one of us probably will, and one of us probably won't.
Unless it ends at a draw.
Indeed. But anyway, thank you so much for listening this week. Right, if you want to get in touch with us, don't forget you always can. If there's something you want us to talk about, something that you're like, well, why haven't you mentioned that? Please do feel free to get in touch at Let's Football Pod on Twitter, or you can email us at letsfootballpod@gmail.com. Like we said, we'll be back next week discussing all those big talking points. But for now, everyone, look after yourselves, and we will see you all very, very soon. All right.
Bye, everyone.
See you in a bit. Bye.